Live from Brooklyn, New York, this is Stay Busy with Armon Sadler. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Stay Busy with Armon Sadler, where we have responsible discussions on the music business and the music culture. As you know, it is Women's History Month, so we are bad and busy all month with some incredible women telling their stories, showing you why they run shit. You need to listen to them. I'm Armon Sadler. As you recall from last week, I am not vegan chorizo papi. I am not the founder of Bald Nigga Ballers. I'm actually the Ronda Rousey of rhetoric, the Lisa Leslie of language, the Janet Jackson of journalism, and the Pam Grier of podcasting. Now, normally my co-host, my brother, my friend, Nic Earley would introduce himself. However, he is busy. He's on a tip-top secret mission. But if he was here, he would probably say that he is feeling blessed, melanated, hydrated, highly favored, and he is the kombucha king that makes your heart sing. However, I'm holding it down alone, and we're going to be just fine. So a couple shout-outs. Of course, as I said, it is Women's History Month, bad and busy. So feel free to DM or email us any amazing women or women-owned businesses, companies, brands that you would like to highlight. Thank you to Ebony Pineos for joining us last week, Miss 2B's. Incredible episode with her. Make sure you tap into 2B's TV and everything that she is doing. Also, tune into all of our busy sessions and YouTube shorts. Episode 5 featuring Law is still available. Her performance and her interview. Congrats to Law. She just put out her debut EP, Vent. So that was dope. Make sure you tap into that. Stream it on all your DSPs. We got, of course, shout out our executive board, Kieran Hurley, our VP of everything the man you cannot see, but you can feel, and also our new team members, Siobhan Shields, VP of engagement, and Nyla Symone, VP of data and analytics. Women's History Month Bad and Busy is brought to you by Hot Tea Company, a black, women-owned premium loose-leaf tea and accessories brand based in Atlanta, Georgia. As you can see, our table is adorned with all of these great things. Our guest actually helped us out with that. She's amazing. We'll get into her a little later, but visit siphottea.com. Hot is spelled H-A-U-T-E, not H-O-T, H-A-U-T-E. And join their newsletter, a.k.a. The Community. Subscribe to get special offers, extra savings, and to stay up to date on the hottest tea. Use promo code BUSY to enjoy 15% off of your first purchase. And most importantly, follow them at siphottea on Twitter and Instagram. As I said, I have an incredible guest for you. So this week's guest, we followed each other on social media for a little while, but we had the pleasure of finally meeting at Conway's birthday and release party a few weeks back. Truthfully, this woman deserves her own party for everything that she has done in the music game. Upon graduating from Boston University, she has risen up the ranks at 300 Entertainment and YSL Records, starting as a digital marketing and creative intern, becoming digital marketing coordinator, and she is now the creative marketing manager. Her resume before all of this was pretty amazing too. Now, if you have the pleasure of following her on Instagram like me, you've seen the great outfits and the photography. She's taken her keen eye and love for capturing images a step further with the recent opening of After Dark Room, where any prop stylist can go to #link and #build. With all of this, it should come as no shock that she too was a panelist on Amethyst Collab's music marketing panel back in January, alongside Stay Busy alumna Janae Brown, and moderated by Stay Busy alumna Olivia Shao-Hope. Here to talk about everything marketing, music, and how women are so crucial to the game. Welcome, my friend, the lovely Tamara May. How are you? Welcome.
Oh my God, that was the best intro I've ever heard. I'm trying not to shed a tear right now. It's my first time on camera, but I'm just so happy to be here, and I don't think it could have been any better. Like,
amazing.
I'm so grateful.
Good. I'm glad you came. Of
course, thank you for having me.
It's gonna be fun. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Can't complain. Thank you for asking. You know, sometimes I ask guests how they are. They just answer and they don't ask me back, and I don't expect it. But it's nice to get asked. It's good to get checked in on.
It's all about the energy, because I got to make sure if I'm good, are you good?
Yes. Yeah. And now that we're both good, we're going to have an amazing podcast. So, of course, thank all of our listeners tapping back in as well. Whether you like Best Friend or Hookah, Nelly or Luda, Pepper Jack or Gouda, and attending office hours or getting a side tutor. Now you have to answer these. Best Friend or Hookah? Thug songs. Yeah, Thugger songs. Best Friend? Okay. That was quick. That was
Best
like
friend.
it was like
Like,
there
it's
was
not even a question.
There was no thought.
There's a
Just,
Tyga feature on Hookah, right?
yeah.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no. Best friend.
Tyga don't do it for you.
That's the one.
But not even his prime 2012 era. All those mixtapes, Rack City.
I
Rack
always
City.
respect it. Always respect it. I always understand. I can't deny it.
Yeah.
But personally, when it comes to like my preference in music, Best Friend any day. Okay. Literally, that was one of the songs where it's like it kind of sparked the Young Thug fever in
Honestly,
me. Where
yeah.
I was like, okay, wow, like what do I want to do with the rest of my life? I got to find a way to have this be a part of it. But Best Friend is definitely the answer.
All right. I respect that. Nelly or Ludacris?
Nelly.
I think I'm a Nelly guy too.
Nelly. I think that's just it's just what I listened to more when I was younger. I'm not like the biggest Nelly fan now or like up to date, but Nelly has those like songs like over and over. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, there's those songs that I think were really, really big in my childhood that hadn't kind of stuck with me today, but that's my answer for that one.
Okay. Pepper Jack or Gouda?
Neither.
Okay.
I'm not really a cheese person.
Wow.
If I had to choose though, I know it's not an option, but I'd probably do like Parmesan.
Parmesan? All right.
Or Gruyere. I like Gruyere because I make a really good French onion soup.
Oh, do you?
I do.
Good to know.
You need a really good Gruyere for it, so
All right.
Gruyere or whatever.
Okay. And lastly, attending office hours with the professor or getting a side tutor?
Neither.
Yeah,
unfortunately. Like, I have been to 3 colleges, didn't attend office hours or a tutor because just couldn't do it. So, yeah, I guess I would, if I had to choose one, I would probably say side tutor, and side tutor would be like one of my friends who helped me out. Yeah, but
that's what I was thinking when I made the question. Like, I don't know, for me, obviously the professor knows, but a professor will approach teaching you in a different way than someone you're like, who's your peer, your age, who like understands you more. Like, it's always easier to receive something from a friend than from an authority type figure.
Exactly. So. It's just like, because I really like to ask a lot of questions. And like, I know the teacher is like where you're supposed to ask the most questions, but when I'm talking to a peer who knows things, it's just like, oops. Like, it made more sense for me.
Yeah, no, I get that. Okay, cool. Let's jump into this chat. A lot to talk about. So this week an article was put out by Craig Jenkins for Vulture. It was his review of Kanye West Donda 2, but it went beyond the music. It was more so addressing where Kanye is as a person, how he's kind of running on E, how he's giving us these very unfinished ideas. And, you know, a lot of what Craig put in the review were things that I've felt for a while. How'd you feel like reading the article and just about Kanye in general, where he is now?
So, I mean, I'm a Kanye fan. I've always been a Kanye fan. I definitely like understand the perspective where, you know, writers like Craig are coming from, especially because it really felt like he's really explaining his perspective as like truly a fan and how Kanye's trajectory has affected his personal listening experience with that. Yeah. And I really do appreciate how he expressed that, and I do not disagree with him. However, it's just like, I think there's no standard anymore. Like, you can literally put out music however you want to. Yeah. And it's really up to the individual to take it how they want. Because it's like, the way that I see it personally is like, okay, sure, like, yeah, it's unfinished, but this is it. This is what it is. Yeah. Like, it's not going to be more finished. Like, having it more finished just wouldn't be the same thing. At least that's what I think. Like, having that finished would be a different song, maybe. I don't know.
How have you felt about Kanye's like last few releases? Donda, Jesus is King, Yay.
I like Donda. I think Donda's really great. I actually think it's a really beautiful piece of work. Jesus is King. I didn't really get into it, honestly. I probably should listen to it again because my perspective and opinion has probably changed since I last listened to it. Yay as well. I should probably give it another listen. Yeah. Things kind of stopped. I stopped really, really, really paying attention to the music after Yeezus, honestly. Wow. Sorry, after Life of Pablo. After Life of Pablo. Because I also just think it's like a taste thing for me personally. Like, that's just like kind of the music I preferred more. But I saw Donda. I mean, I heard Donda and I was like, wow, this is really like, it felt really authentic and it also felt very current at the same time. And there's really something for everybody there. He's such a great storyteller. So it's just like really beautiful to listen to and just kind of compare and see what he said, you know, across not just like his interviews, but like the music he's released and his features and all that stuff. So, that's why that most recent song that dropped, the
Easy with Game or City of Gods with Fabio and Alicia.
That one it's I don't know. I'm honestly still processing my opinion on that song.
I thought his verse was really good. It's just like a weird combination, I guess. Alicia on that hook with Fivio and then Ye. Like, I think if it was just Fivio and Ye, I would be fine with it. But Alicia, I don't know if Alicia was necessarily needed there.
Which is unfortunate.
Yeah, because I love Alicia Keys. I've loved her my whole life. Like, she was like my first crush. Like, I love her. Yeah. But I don't know. It's just I think I'm still a bit scarred from Empire State of Mind and how often we heard that. It's like I don't need Alicia on that really big hook anymore.
That's what it was
in 2022.
Like one New York City hook. You
can't
really
yeah. So I feel you on that. I feel you. I respect that. There's stuff on Donda I really like. I love Hurricane with Weeknd and Lil Baby. 24 is obviously really great. Of course, Off the Grid with Fivio. There's good songs on it. I felt like it was a little too self-indulgent, like too long, and that's a critique you can use for most albums these days. And there were other things that like. The album was very much so made for performance, like for a stadium. But as listening to it, like in my car or in my headphones, like some stuff I could do without. But I definitely agree that there's something for everyone there. And some people really love it. Some people are like, yeah.
Yeah, this song, I feel like the songs are also so like mood based. And I feel like my favorite song changes depending on how I'm feeling when it comes to Donda as well. So it's like, that's why I really like, I got to get better about listening to the same album, like in different times of my life, in different times of like what I'm going through, because I'm really a big believer on like, it's okay if your mind changes. Like I might say something that I might not particularly like today, but I might like it again in a couple months or a couple years, whatever. Like I'm so fine with that.
People are very afraid to like change their minds because other people will hold it against you like, oh, but you felt this way that year. And it's like, well, yeah, but smart people change their minds. Like you have a new experience, you learn something new, you change your opinion. Like that's okay. It's not wrong.
There's nothing more valuable than perspective.
Yeah,
like
that's what you were saying earlier.
Exactly.
Like it's so true. So I agree. There was one quote here from Craig's article that I just wanted to read to you all because it was powerful. So he says, it can't be easy navigating bipolar disorder in the middle of a high profile celebrity divorce when your private mental health has been the subject of much intense speculation. But it is unfair to try to pin his flaws on a diagnosis while attributing his triumphs to business acumen. It demonizes mental illness by implying that irritable behavior like targeted internet harassment is merely a natural manifestation of the disorder and not a choice made in agency. Ye isn't wrong to want to have a say in the way he is seen by others, but what he really wants is the freedom to say what he likes without being called to the floor for it. The negative headlines would stop the moment the negative behavior did. Ye could flex that power today. And that's something that I've really felt for a while. You know, I'm a huge mental health advocate, but I've noticed recently the trendiness of mental health has made it a defense mechanism for people where they'll wild out. They'll do anything crazy. And then when they get called out for it or held to the fire for it, they're like, oh, I'm going through things. And it's okay to go through things, but like certain behaviors you can't do to people and be like, you know, people just let it go because you're claiming, you know, mental health stuff. Like because there are people who really go through things like actual problems and it really impacts their behavior. And I do think Kanye West definitely has, you know, some issues himself, but I don't know. For me, it's just kind of gotten to a point like his fans, his like super fans, for example, it's like no matter what he does, oh, he's a genius. He's a genius. He's incredible, blah, 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 all that. And then the moment he does something that's like too fucked up to the point where we're like, yo, that's wild. They're like, oh, but he's going through things. Like it's kind of lame. That's something that I really, really take issue with as someone who values mental health and, you know, like I really value my own. I really use a lot of different resources for it. So that quote by Craig really stuck with me. And I appreciate that honesty because I've been trying to find the words to say it, and you don't want to look like an asshole by making a blanket mental health statement because you don't know what individuals go through. Everyone has kind of different issues there. How did you feel about the quote and all that?
I mean, I think he's very articulate. I think he said exactly what he meant to say, and he kind of give you the variance of like what it could mean too, which I appreciated. But I think, I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not Kanye West. I'm not in his brain. Yeah. The scope and not scope, the scale and like the grandeur of his just life. I feel like it's not to. That's the thing. It's a spectrum, all that stuff. But his I don't even know the proper verbiage to use. It's really just like such on a different God level scale of like the shit that's happening in his life, and this is like the outburst. At least this is what I think. I know nothing about his life, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's. I'm honestly still thinking about the quote because, you know, as somebody who also really values mental health, I go out of my way to make sure that mental health maintenance is something that I implement in my daily life, not just like crisis mode type shit. Like I make sure that, okay, like crises are going to happen regardless. Like let me make sure like I'm good mentally to approach it when it happens. And so like for an artist like Kanye, who is so vocal about like his struggles, I don't know, maybe I haven't been tapped in enough. Like I guess I would also like to hear about it being okay to live with, and like that these like the outbursts are like they're gonna happen regardless, but because there's so many people like who are watching him, that's when the negative headlines come up. Like it doesn't matter like if you do like those, the things that are going to trigger negative headlines are going to happen whether or not the headlines are being written. That's what I think. And so I think it's just about like mental health maintenance and whatever he feels comfortable with.
Yeah, social media, the hyperactivity of it, the fact that we learn everything. We're presented so much information, more than we probably should take in on a daily basis. It sensationalizes these things.
Absolutely.
Like, things that wouldn't be stories are stories. Like, this person unfollowed this person on Instagram. Who cares? Like why are we...
Because I think about like the people, or just like myself, like when I think about like when I'm in crisis mode, like imagine Kanye West in crisis mode. Like that's just probably like it's a whole different, I don't know. It's not even comparable, but it's just it's human and he's human. Yeah. And you know, it's God knows what he's actually going through. Yeah. 100%. You know, like we know nothing at the end of the day. So these conversations are always very interesting because it's just like, we're observing like someone existing and like the strain of existing essentially.
Yeah. No, 100%. I agree. Great points you made. You kind of you had me thinking about it in like a different way with what you presented. So I appreciate that. I love bringing in people who have different perspectives because I've been critical of Kanye throughout this season. Like I've been very critical of him. People think I hate him. I don't know him. I don't know him to hate him, but I've disliked a lot of what he's done.
There's some shit where I'm like I don't even want to mention like the Trump shit or whatever. Like, that's a whole other conversation that like disappointed a lot of fans. I'm like I don't even know. Like there's some shit that I could definitely criticize, but his mental health and like the way he's reacting, I feel like
it's not for us to diagnose.
It's not just for us to diagnose, but I also don't blame him.
Good point. So one of our guests from a couple months ago, Talia Litzer and GODMODE, they were highlighted in Music Business Worldwide in an article saying major labels aren't the ones pulling the strings today. There's a lot more responsibility on the artist's shoulders. Talia provided a lot of great perspective. They were highlighted for, working with JPEG Mafia, who's hit the Spotify US top 10 charts, and a couple of their other artists, Ye G and Paul Rod. And it's really dope to see them getting highlighted. They're self-funded partnerships with Universal, Warner, Sony. They're housed in LA. So a really great article. We're going to link that for you all. Was there anything in the article that like stuck out to you really liked?
Well, first thing, I think this is kind of me familiarizing myself with GODMODE, and like I was familiar with all of the artists on it, and what a cool fucking roster! Like so dope, like so like experimental and still like kind of everyday. I just really loved it. What was the question again? Sorry.
Just like anything from the article that like stuck out to you or was cool.
I really appreciated how she kind of mentioned how she approaches strategy in terms of really just like. It's not oversaturation. It's just like, what's working? Like, what's the first hook we got, and like super serving that. Like, I really thought it was great how she talked about, building JPEG's fan base abroad. I think it was Australia and somewhere else, and then just kind of having that trickle down into the US, which I think is super important. Like music, America's not the only place in the world where music is played.
Contrary to popular belief.
And so it's really great to see marketers like taking advantage, and not just taking advantage, but like being proactive and reactive to what's already happening elsewhere, and then kind of bringing that back to the States. Because I think a lot of what is like unfortunate, and honestly just like the fact with developing artists, whether they're like, new developing artists who are just kind of continuously developing. It's like it really just takes other people to say they fuck with something until other people fuck with something.
That's it.
And
social proofing.
Literally. And I think she she made a point where it's like, that's okay.
Yeah.
Like that's just how it is. And like, just never stop. Like I really thought it was a very interesting article. And I'm definitely going to be tapping more into like what she's done and her company and her work and the artist as well. It's a really, really interesting perspective that I've not read about before, honestly.
Yeah, they're great. She was on our episode, so
that's so awesome.
She got very insightful, provided a lot of information. One quote that stuck with me is creative decisions are business decisions are creative decisions, because they go hand in hand in music. Like, the art empowers the business empowers the art. So a lot of great insight. If y'all haven't listened to the GODMODE episode, make sure you tap into that.
And artists, they do have so much agency. Like they really are the shot callers. Like, but it's hard because a lot of the times artists they really have to be like in the ear of like the person to make that shit happen, or they have to kind of just do like the proof of concept shit, which is like really, it's just what you have to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, that's all that's really it.
Great. Let's get into some new music from the weekend. So, Lucky Daye finally dropped his highly anticipated album, Candy Drip. 17 songs, features from Smino, Child, and Lil Durk. How'd you feel about Candy Drip? Dun, dun, dun.
So, I liked it. I thought it was good. I feel like this is not going to be like as... I thought it was good. I liked it. It's not music that I necessarily like kind of would go for personally, because I think he's an incredible artist. I think his music, his voice is incredible.
Yeah.
But I think I personally like, it's just not my personal preference, but I thought it was beautiful. I really enjoyed the Usher sample.
On Guess.
Usher was the first album I ever bought. That I think it was Confessions was the first like physical CD I ever bought at this like CD store in DC that closed down. But I don't know. I liked it. I'm glad I listened to it. Yeah. I will continue to keep up with it. I think new music is good perspective for what else is out there in this cultural conversation. Yeah. But it was good. I liked it.
Good. Okay. Yeah. I liked it too. I wouldn't say that I loved it. Like I liked it to almost really liked it. Guess the Usher sample I really liked.
I also want to mention that I thought the intro was amazing.
Intro was very
I think
good.
The intro really, really got me. The intro was like what we're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then something happened along the way, and I kind of like maybe lost focus, and maybe I should give it more attention. Yeah. But it really hooked me in, and then I kind of just like.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, I'm a Lucky fan. 17 songs of like 57 minutes, I think it was. It's asking a lot for me personally. I think this is a critique you can give to a lot of albums these days. If you trim the fat, you cut it down a little bit, it'd be great. But that's really how I feel. Like NWA with Durk, that a lot of people don't necessarily love that song. I'm a huge Durk fan. I think that they probably could have done something a little better on that. But God Body with Smino I thought was really good. Fucking Sound I really liked. Over, of course, the Music Soul Child Half Crazy sample was great. But yeah, I think if it was cut down, it would have been really good. But the production's incredible. The
production is incredible.
D-Mile and Lucky are an amazing duo, an absolutely amazing duo. And Lucky is he's the guy right now in male R&B, and I think this album is going to push that a little further. And Nick and I were actually talking about it at the bar before you joined us. Like, there's kind of a lack of guys in male R&B right now, like people who stand out. So Lucky's kind of in his own lane, but Nick is like, even if there were a lot of other super talented guys who were present, Lucky would still stand out to me. And I think there's a lot of people who feel that way. He's doing different things. It's alternative R&B, it's not just moody, vibey, in your bag type stuff. It's
just like listening to it made me want to listen to more of his music, because I feel like maybe this was not the one for me, but his voice is stellar. Like obviously he's an incredible ear for production, and it's just like, okay, cool. Like let me find what I do like from this artist, because it's definitely there.
Was this the first album of his that you've listened to fully?
Literally, this was like a kind of new territory for me, because I've unfortunately not really done much new artist listening the past year, honestly, which is kind of sad. Like been listening to like the same Party Next Door song for like maybe 3 years now. That's being dramatic, but not really. But yeah, I think I always get really happy because it just opens like another portal in my brain that gives me again that new perspective of things that I might not have known before. And it's really important for me to keep chasing that and figuring it out. But I thought it was a beautiful album, and congratulations on the release as well. Like, it's so great.
It's always a big deal. Like, people don't realize what goes into releasing music.
Absolutely.
So it's just exciting to get it out first, and then to see it land, to see people like it. That's a big. I'm sure you can relate more than me.
No, not even that. It's just like it's when you see how much love and care and attention and work and sweat and blood, tears, all that shit like that artists put into it. It's like it's really, really hard to critique or give my opinion, because it's just like I know where it came from, and it's just like it's not for me, but it's for him, and it's for who it is for, which is more important than anybody's just like surface opinion.
Yeah. From Lucky's discography, I would suggest Table for Two for you. He released that Valentine's Day weekend 2021.
Beautiful.
It's all woman features on it.
Okay.
So Ari Lennox is on there. Yeba is on there. I'm trying to think who else is on there. Tiana Major 9 is on there. So it's good. That's that and his debut project Painted, the one that was Grammy nominated.
Okay. I need to absolutely get my knowledge up with that then.
That's okay. That's what we're here for. Put you on.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about Shenseea's album Alpha. Features on there from 21 Savage, Offset, 2 Tyga features, Sean Paul, Tyga features. I thought it was cool. I think it showed that she has range. I feel, and we talked about this last week with Ebony, because we talked about Nicki Minaj's quote when she was in her interview with Joe Budden about how artists who try to do too much and chase trends, they become faceless. We don't know who you are because you're trying to do everything else instead of like creating your own lane. And I think this album, it was true to her roots, and like, the reggae type bops and all that, but it was kind of a little much. And I thought the feature selection was interesting too. I love Offset. Offset is one of my favorite rappers, genuinely. I fuck with 21 Savage. The 2 Tyga features were very interesting. But yeah, it was kind of all over the place. It was hard to kind of get one central feeling from it, and I think when you try to satisfy everyone, you kind of falter a bit. Like, I don't know, I feel like she has to establish her identity a little more before really dipping her foot into so many different things and trying to appeal to the masses without establishing a core. So that's kind of how I felt about it. How'd you feel about the project?
Well, I think she's amazing. I think she's had a really great year so far.
Yeah.
I think in terms of like the music itself for this album, I think it was a little more pop than I personally prefer. There was definitely like a lot of disconnections for me, because I was I don't know who listens to albums not in order for the first time, but I was listening to it in order, obviously, and I don't know. It really, I felt like I was listening to a couple different artists, like or at least a couple different singles. Like I feel like a lot of songs could have been singles. They could have been maybe stronger as singles to show her range, because she absolutely has such range. The 21 Savage song I actually kind of liked. I was not fan of the, was it Offset?
Offset, yeah.
I was not fan of the Offset song.
Bouncing, I think it was called. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. I really liked the Beanie Man song. I think that, because I prefer kind of like not so much like the pop kind of angle of her music. So I mean, I thought it was good. Again, I thought it was good. Like, it's not my favorite, but she did something different. And I love hearing what artists can do. Like, there's no doubt that she's a star. I think it's really still just the beginning. It really felt like a debut, and I want to see like another debut. Like, I want to see something else this year. Yeah. Something that felt, I don't know if it felt authentic.
That's a good point. Yeah, I agree. If it you can do too much. Like, she's talented. I agree. I think she's got a lot of potential, but I think she might be trying to do too much too soon. It's being an artist is a grind. Like, not everyone pops fast, and I think I said this with Ebony. Like, her being on Donda and her, having the song with Meg. Like, she's being put on these really big platforms, and people are noticing her, and it's like, oh, I could expand and get a pop audience. I could expand and get all these audiences. And when you're trying to do all of that, she might end up losing herself. So,
and that's the thing. Like, when you, and again, I don't know like what her team and all that kinds of stuff that went, into the back end of all this stuff. But it's like, what was I even saying? When you have like those opportunities for like such big platforms, and then what you follow with it afterwards doesn't necessarily like kind of match up. Yeah, it can be hard to hone in an audience, but. again, congratulations to her on the
Absolutely.
release.
Absolutely. That's our chat. Let's highlight our employee of the month, Nyla Symone. Clap it up for Nyla Symone. As you all know, Nila is a DJ, host, interviewer, works with Power 105.1, Charlemagne's Comedy Central show, The God's Honest Truth, and Revolt TV. Make sure that you follow her on social media. She is always doing amazing things. They actually, I believe it was Power 105 this past week on International Women's Day. They had her, DJ Steph Cakes, and Ivy Rivera. They all did their own show, like all women DJs hosting their own radio show. I don't know if that's really ever, I think that might be unprecedented. So it was a really big deal. A lot of people were excited about that. And yeah, shout out to Nyla for doing her thing always. Let's jump into this slide deck. Before we get into our board meeting, our interview with our incredible guest Tamara, we're going to play a game called Tell Us Tamara.
Oh my God.
So you're going to tell us a story about yourself based off of each prompt that I give you. Are you ready?
No, but I'm
Too
ready.
bad. So tell us, Tamara, about a time where you had to finesse your way out of a crazy situation.
Can I think about this for a second?
You can.
Okay, cool.
You can.
Wow, I have to finesse my way out of a crazy situation? Wow, my mind is blanking.
You want to take another one and come back to that one?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell us, Tamara, about a moment where you felt like you failed.
Ooh, okay. Never. I simply don't believe in failure. Like, it's just literally not something that I'm programmed in my body. I do not believe in failure. I do not believe in anything as failure. I believe in learning from your experiences.
Yeah.
I learn in, trying until you succeed. I'm really grateful that I do have that mindset. It's something that my mom and dad really instilled in me since I was young. And what was it? My dad, he had a sticker on his laptop. It was like a Yoda. It was like, there's no, what was it? Some shit like, there's no try, or like do or do not, or some shit like that. And that's really what I believe is just like, there is no failure.
Yeah.
It's, if it didn't work out, it wasn't right for me. If it didn't work out, it's not ready yet. Like, I don't necessarily believe that things happen for a reason, which is maybe not the most like, whatever, that's just like my personal belief. But I really do believe that if you want to make something happen, you absolutely can. Like, there is simply no such thing as a roadblock in my mind.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know when things will happen, but I am confident that they will.
I like that. I like that energy. I've really, in the last few years of my life, I've lost my fear of rejection and failure, because as long as you learn something from it, you can't look at it as a negative. Like, if you don't accomplish something, you just learn, okay, next time I'll do it this way. So like considering something a failure is like looking down on yourself, being dejected. And it's like, no, like if I honestly, I'm thankful for those moments where I didn't achieve something, because then it just empowers me to do it differently the next time and actually achieve it. So, and
I don't know everything, so like I can't expect for things to work out the first time I try them. It's just like I have a very open mind. I go into things with a very open mind, and I don't necessarily think about all the possibilities. I just think about whatever happens, and I don't necessarily believe the universe has an agenda. Yeah, which is why I kind of am just like, okay, I'm just gonna keep fucking going.
Good energy. Good energy. Tell us, Tamara, about your least favorite subject in school.
English.
English. Wow, really?
English, which is really weird. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. So I'm talking high school. Like, and I did like the fucking IB program. And I went to high school in Dubai. That's where I graduated in 2015. And we did the IB program. And I was in higher level bio, higher level French, higher level chemistry, higher level psychology, higher level fucking art. For some fucking reason, I took all higher level classes. I don't know why. Genius. And I was in standard level, and higher level French as well. I was in standard level math. No, sorry, I was in math studies. Let me not pretend here. I was in math studies. It was not standard level math. It was math studies. And then I was in regular IB English. And I don't know why. I just couldn't do it. I had to move to high school level English because it was so difficult for me. I don't know why. I just don't. It wasn't making sense. Like, I was just simply not interpreting similes and whatever the fuck I had to, like the way that I had to.
Yeah.
I was really good at writing when it came to other subjects, but when it came to writing for English, I don't know. It was really weird. Creative writing I was always good at, but like analytical writing, like I could not do IB because of that. So I had to drop out of the fucking IB program and take like just courses and shit. So
Yeah.
yeah. Fucking English. I hated English.
Wow.
But now I've as I got older, I'm really developing a different appreciation for language and
Of course.
and different ways to explore language and learn about, English. I forget, like the English, studies.
Yeah.
Through different mediums that are media that I was not exposed to in high school. So I feel like I've grown a lot in terms of my understanding of just kind of that kinds of educational part of English since I've left college.
Right.
And I just appreciate it much more. Especially, I just also don't think I ever enjoyed like the reading material, and I think that was a really big issue as to why. So, my thoughts on English.
Word. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Tell us about the boldest pickup line that's been used on you.
Ooh, I'm not really easily impressed, honestly. The boldest
I've sensed
one, yeah,
I can sense that.
but I'm trying to think the boldest one. Honestly, straight up, just kind of being like, "Oh, you're so beautiful." That's it.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah, literally. I don't like if there's a bold. It's just like in one ear, out the other.
Yeah.
Literally, like don't. It doesn't work for me. You can't like give me a pickup line. I probably will not remember it. It's just like okay, no, in one ear, out the other.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Good to know. Good to know for anyone interested in shooting their shot. So you tell us about where you grew up and what your home situation was like, what you were into as a youth, things that you enjoyed doing, all that good stuff.
Okay. Story time. All right, cool. So my name is Tamara. I guess, yeah. So the where are you from question, is that the question? Like that's kind of, it's always like a very interesting question because it's like, I'm originally Lebanese, 100% Lebanon, Beirut, let's go. Home for me is Dubai. That's where my mother lives, so I went to high school. I was born in Boston, but I moved there when I was 2. And then I moved to DC and I lived there until I was 9. And so like DMV has a very big special place in my heart. However, I don't really like actually feel like too connected to it. I just still have like, there's a very big Lebanese community. We always find like our fucking communities no matter where. And there's a really big Lebanese community there. So I have a lot of friends that are still from there, that still live there, that I go back to see every so often. But I don't really feel connected to kind of the East Coast since I left. And then, so yeah, I was born in Boston, moved to DC. Then I moved to Lebanon for 2 years. And then I moved to Dubai for 5 years.
Wow.
And then when I graduated high school in Dubai, I moved to New York. I went to Fordham University for a year.
I almost went to Fordham too.
Oh, yeah, good thing you fucking didn't.
Yeah?
And
you
then,
didn't like it?
No, I did not like it. And then I went to, then I transferred to Boston University. And then I transferred again to New York University on a visiting student program because I was not an academic girl. Like, intelligent, but academia was not necessarily like my forte.
I feel you.
So I was just really into like the extracurriculars. I was always at shows, taking photos, doing some sort of shit like music business club. Like shout out to everybody in music business club because I wouldn't be here without like the fire that you guys instilled in me. But really doing a lot of extracurriculars. And what was the question again?
Oh, just
kind of going through shit. Okay, cool. Yeah, and that's it. So I never really. So that's why I moved around so much because I was kind of I was more like job focused. So I started interning at 300 when I was a summer of junior year at BU, and then they kind of just kept me on because like after intern, like as a consultant, because I was doing the like 8 a.m. reports and nobody else wanted to fucking wake up at 8 a.m. and like do that shit. So like, let's just pay Tamara to do it while she's in college. And I did.
You're grinding.
And then, you make yourself indispensable, you stay. And so that's why I transferred from BU to NYU because I was like, I was literally, shout out to everybody who I lived with at Waterside who provided a couch for me to stay on. After when I was literally taking the bus after my classes at like 6 p.m. at BU to New York, 4 to 6 hour bus, staying, like getting there at like 2 a.m. or some shit, waking up, going to the office the next day, and then going back the next day back to Boston just so I could be in the office. Like I had this hunger that I'm getting into the music industry that I feel like I'm actually kind of rediscovering and feeling again now, like now that I'm in it. I'm really excited to see like how I'm going to grow with this. Cause like this 2018, was 2018? Yeah, it was like a 2018 like hunger, drive, like power, passion that I really had that I felt like I lost for a long time that I really only got back a couple months ago. And now that I have it, like I'm ready to go. I don't know if this was your question, but this is how I feel.
I'm glad you got into that because that's a really relevant experience that I can resonate with. Like even the things that you love and are passionate about, you kind of they ebb and flow. Like there's some times where I want to work super hard. I want to write all the time. And then I'll go like 3 months without writing anything. And it feels weird because you're like, I feel like I need to be doing this thing. But you also kind of need that distance from it sometimes. Absolutely. That distance shows you how much you love it. And then you can get back into it more refreshed. Because a lot of us work ourselves to the bone. Like, and our batteries deplete.
And when we were just doing it because we do it, like it's really hard for me to recognize. Like I stopped taking pictures for the first 6 months of COVID. Like nobody was really doing anything. Like a lot of inspiration was lost, unfortunately, like during that time for a lot of people. But I did not pick up my camera for 6 months to the point where I was like, damn, like I'm not even a photographer anymore. Like this is not even, like, am I even worthy of picking up the camera and like holding it and owning this shit,
myself that,
right? Because it's just like other people are with it every day. It's like, you know what? No, like it wasn't even like a hiatus. It was really just like a fucking reset, and it was just like, okay, cool. Like it's I've just really grown so much, and I'm really grateful to be over that whatever it's called, the
hump.
Thank you. Yeah, like over the hump of not knowing what I'm doing with my life. And I still don't know, but I just like now I'm more confident when I enjoy things and I follow those feelings.
It's crazy how you feel like you don't know what you're doing, but you could still be doing well, or what someone else is looking at. They're like, you don't know, you're a creative marketing manager. You just open After Dark. You're doing all this. You're doing great. And you're just like, I don't know. I really don't know.
Listen, and like it's not even just imposter syndrome. It's just like it's just like I wake up and this is just who the fuck I am, and it's just like I need to just own it. You know, it's really just like I'm really working on like owning myself and owning the greatness that I am, because as soon as I'm like, okay, as soon as I talk my shit, like I don't really have to even do that, like just to continue having my work speak for itself. Honestly, that's really all it is. I don't believe in like talking my shit. I don't believe in any of that shit. I believe in, you know, giving myself my props, but really letting my work speak for itself. But I've got to find like a balance where I could be like, okay, like let me actually talk my shit.
That's why you're here. You're here to talk your shit. Talk your
and
shit.
I appreciate it very much.
So in doing my research on you, because I was deep in it, I discovered you have been, like I said in the intro, your resume even prior to 300 is pretty crazy. So graphic design and social media intern at Wet Paint Creative Digital Solutions, digital media and music marketing intern for Maven. I don't know if it's Maven. I guess I pronounced it right.
Maven.
Yeah, digital media intern for Gupta Media, host DJ on The Come Up in Boston, editorialist and photographer for GoodMusicAllDay.com, community manager for Verge Campus Media. So you have dipped into a lot of different things. You've used your photography skills. You've done graphics, design. You've done social media. You've even written a little bit. Like, talk about, you know, all those different things that you did and ultimately how you found your way to what you're doing now.
Wow, that's so fun. So I started at Wet Paint. I've always just loved graphic design. I've always loved like just kind of being like an iPad adult, like on my computer and shit. And so I just took an internship when I was like right out of college, and I learned a lot. I had an amazing mentor. I think it was so long ago. Her name was Pascal, I believe. And she really pushed my graphic design like kind of, you know, edge, and made me realize, oh wait, this is actually like people get paid to do this, and people like can be creative, and it's like a job. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then after that, I don't exactly remember the order of everything at Maven. I don't know what they're doing now, but shout out to them. It was honestly, when I was in Boston, there's not really anything that is like really too much music heavy, and Maven was like a DJ school. And I'm really grateful for the experience I learned there, because I learned a lot about equipment. I learned a lot about, you know, organization and storage and calendar and taking out the trash and all that shit. But I would just anything that I could put on my resume that had anything to do with music, I was going to do it.
Yeah.
And so after that, there was GODMODE Media, which is an advertising agency in Boston, which it's like media buying. It's literally just an advertising agency. And it was really cool because I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea what I was doing. And I learned all about advertising, all about media buying, all about like kind of share of media on the internet through that, and just like actually like physically doing that. And so I really do appreciate that experience, because that's how I found out about 300, was just by working at GODMODE Media and like seeing who their clients were and just kind of dicking around and snooping on shit or whatever. And then honestly, most of my experience just really came through like the extracurriculars that I did that I mentioned. And then when I was at Fordham, my friend Erin, she gifted me a camera as like a going away gift. And I remember so vividly the first time I ever saw like a film camera. I was like, oh my God, you can't see the pictures on the back. That's crazy. Because I remember I was taking pictures with her camera, and I was just like pressing the button, and it started making like the noise where it's like whirring. I was like, oh my God, I thought I broke it. But anyway, she gave me the camera, and that camera changed my fucking life. It changed my life because I transferred to BU, and I lived right down the block, like half a block from this venue called Paradise Rock Club. And I didn't really have any friends yet. I just moved to college. Like I wasn't like a sorority into that kind of stuff personally, like for my own shit. And so that wasn't really like easy to make friends. Like at BU, but all I did know is that I really enjoyed going to concerts. And so I literally just brought that little camera with me to this Danny Brown show. I waited for like 4 hours in front of the venue, just like waiting. I didn't even know how to go about getting a press pass. I had no fucking idea what I was doing. I literally was just like there, and I was hungry and I was passionate. So I snuck into the venue early, and I just kind of stayed there until the show started. And that was the first experience. Like while I was there early, I met people who were running the merch table who I still I'm friends with today. I met some incredible people, and when I was there I was like, wow, like there's got to be like a real way to do this, like for real. And then that's when I started kind of learning about how to actually get your foot in the door through the press passes and credentials. And I started kind of lying and telling people that let me cover this show. I'm part of Music Business Club, whatever, which I was, but it's like we didn't have anything to, show for it. And it was just like, I don't know what happened, but something clicked in my brain, and every single waking minute of the day I was emailing people, asking them to put me on a press list, to get on the show, to take photos, all this shit. And I was never salty. That's the thing. Like, I never get salty when I'm told no. I never get salty ever, because it's really just about like, okay, whatever, not yet. Yeah. I'll see you when I see you, type shit. Like, what was I fucking saying? Yeah. So like, I got a lot of no's. Like, I didn't get any yeses, but there was this one artist I really wanted to photograph, and they had said no, but at least they responded. At least they responded, which was fucking awesome. I was like, really?
Because you get ghosted a lot in this shit.
Exactly. And then I was like, okay, whatever. Okay, I respect it. And then I found out that a local Boston rapper was actually opening up for this artist that was coming to town. And so I found the management of the local Boston artist. He was a college student. He was super down with me to come there and take pictures for his artist. All right, bet. So I took pictures for his artist, but I also took photos of the artists that had told me no, or their management has told me no. Yeah. The photos actually were really good. They were really good, surprisingly. And I sent them back, and I was like, well, I happened to get in. Here are the photos anyways. And they're like, oh wait, these are not trash, and you did it for free, and you're a college student. Like, then they started sending me to more places, and that's really how I kind of built that. And photography was my medium to, I think medium is the right word. Yes. It was my medium to be exposed and get into the music industry. And I really have since then learned that my love for documenting and being there and just like really documenting the process, like showing the behind the scenes shit, is really like what I love. Like getting the angle that the main photographer is maybe not getting, or like just showing how things are coming together is really what I developed from, going to the shows and taking backstage photos. And I started writing for Good Music All Day, which was a college blog that is no longer in business. It was such an amazing experience, just like being able to have interviewed, like I interviewed so many random people when I was in college. I interviewed Larry June, Rob Banks. There's so many that I'm forgetting, like JIDK when he was JIDK at the time. Yeah. There's so many people that I'm literally forgetting right now, but it was so beautiful for like this camera and this just conversation. Like I really just love, like, at the end of the day, we're all human. There's just like, you know, the connection is unmatched, and that, I don't know what that feeling is, but it's like, it's kind of coming back right now. And it's the feeling of like, I want to tell the story of these people through my eyes, I guess. I don't know. Or just like my experience, like how am I getting their message out? I don't know. It's just, I'm trying to figure all out all the verbiage for what it is, but documenting has just been something that's kind of where I'm at right now, is like, I want to document the amazing things that are happening, and that these artists are doing, that these creatives are doing, that it's, and I know I love music, but I love entertainment and media and culture and all that beyond it. So
absolutely, and this is a perfect segue for you to talk about studio you just opened, After Dark. Come on, talk to us. You've been promoting it heavy. You showcased Amethyst Collab's drinks that they had at the event. Like, talk about what inspired After Dark to come together and what the experience has been like so far, you know, owning it.
Yeah. Oh my God. So this is like, this is the first time I guess I ever really talk about it, because After Dark has always been, so for context, so me and my roommate Allison, who is also my sister and business partner, we are doing this together, and we have an amazing, you know, thing that we're kind of doing. And After Dark Room is the name of the studio. Yeah. It's really just, listen, we're figuring it out. It's a creative space that we're here to help people execute their visions, really. Like, and I'm so grateful that Olivia tapped in and we were able to help out and produce like some drink content for her. And it was so amazing, just like brainstorming and, you know, getting really like, the way I want After Dark to be is like, it's either like a space for you, or it's for like a place where you can come and we'll help you get it done. Yeah. And After Dark Room is right now we are in proof of concept mode. I realize that as a creative, like I can't, it doesn't make sense for me not to have what was that, 4?
Number 4.
Yes. Okay. Still below 7.
3 more.
After Dark Room is really just a way, like, if I'm going to actually be creative, I have to make sure that I'm fostering the spaces within that I'm in every day to really support that. So, it was something also that I put off for like 5 months, because it was just like this anxiety that comes with being a creative and like taking ownership of your work and putting yourself in a position to win, because at the end of the day, no one's gonna fucking do it for me. So I finally did it, and as soon as I did it, it literally took 30 minutes to put the goddamn fucking backdrop up. As soon as I did that, it was over. It was over. Like, the booking started coming in, like, and it was like, okay, wow, like, now the focus has to really follow, and it's this is what I want. This is what I want to do, and this is what I need. And I'm so grateful that I've already been able to use the space as we just dropped like the Youngstoner Life Records merch collaboration, not merch collaboration, Youngstoner Life merch collection today, and I was able to shoot some of the detail shots in my home studio, and it's just like, that's just so fucking cool to me for some reason, because it's just like, it's just product shots, but it's just like, younger Tamara would be freaking the fuck out that I shot detail shots in my home studio. And it's just like, in the grand scheme of things, like, actually fucking cool, and I need to like be okay with that. And it's like, even my little sister retouched the images for me as well, which is like crazy, because that's like really what it's about for me. But that's what it is. Like, the proof of concept is there. So now it's about like keeping the schedule booked, and you know, inshallah, one day having a bigger space that more people can use. And also shout out Dukes from Basque, who's really inspired me and shown me like the shit you need to take, you know, a studio seriously. So I want to just continue to foster creative spaces, not just for myself, but like for the people I know and just people in general. Like, I don't know, I really love community. Community is everything to me. Like, so important. I'm a very open person. I'm really like, my number one thing is and the thing with After Dark, like, and not just After Dark, but everything's like, I always provide people the opportunity to come in with me on a journey. Like, I really believe that that's the most important thing you can do, is give people the opportunity to step in when they want to. I don't leave the door closed. Like, if you want to tap in, like, tap in. But, just like give people the opportunity to come on your journey. Because like I said, like, it takes sometimes somebody else to fuck with something before they fuck with it. But
True.
but like you said, what did you say? That was like so fucking fire. It was like stay busy. What was it? Can you say it again?
If you're busier, then you won't notice when people aren't supporting you or not tapping you with what you're doing.
Straight up. Literally.
And it's true. Like it's like I told you off air. Like when the person said that to me at the time, I kind of took it offensively because I was like, no, I want you to support me. Support me. You're my friend. Support me. But think about it. It's like you really don't give a fuck when people are liking stuff or reposting stuff if you're just constantly doing different things. Like, and your friends aren't always your audience either. That's a really big lesson to learn, is like your friends are not the person that you're pushing the content to. They'll support you because it's you, but they might not get it the way that your audience of photography or music critique actually who like really value that stuff. So,
absolutely. And I value my friends. I think I like kind of grazed it. I think that was 5.
4.5.
4.5. Okay. I really value all of my friends' opinions so much. They're like the first people I go to, but then I have to also think about it. Okay, Tamara, like, why are you doing this? Like, let's think, like, no opinions. Yeah. Let's be logistic here. Let's look at the facts, all that stuff. So I'm learning on really taking those to heart as well. Yeah. Not just the opinions, because sometimes like I get in my head and all that stuff, and I really want everybody to be everyone.
5.5.
That wasn't even the mic. You see now, because now I'm like in my I'm in my
shit.
exactly. But yeah, it's just like it's continuing to show proof of concept and have the work speak for itself.
So 300, y'all been eating. You're very, very talented roster. And there's this narrative, not necessarily a narrative that I agree with, but a lot of these, like music Twitter or all these music experts, labels are bad, labels suck, blah, blah, blah. What's the biggest misconception that you've learned the truth about in working at a label?
Well, 300 is the only label that I have ever worked at. So it is the only perspective that I have.
Of course.
And I think one of the biggest misconceptions would be, I think the article that we spoke about touched it so well, is like the artists truly have so much agency. And, what is it? The closed mouths don't get fed?
Yep.
Yeah, that's really it. Like there is a team, like the labels, they when everybody's on the same page, it's beautiful. Yeah. That's really it. Like, yeah.
Word. What would you tell 16-year-old Tamara after, with all this knowledge that you have, all the experiences that you had, all the success? What would you tell 16-year-old Tamara?
Where was she when she was 16? What would I tell 16-year-old Tamara? I would tell her just don't stop. Literally, just like it's okay. Like I remember when I was 16, I was just like a nerdy fucking kid in high school. Like I remember I was listening to. I would sit in the library with my friend Nika, and at the time, like we would listen to music on VKontakte, which is like this Russian Facebook equivalent or whatever. Yeah. And she put me onto so much shit. And I was like, holy shit. It was shit that I've never heard of. I didn't even know music could sound like that. It was just like weird, like Witch House. And at the time, like Crystal Castles type shit. And that's really like the formative shit. Like that's why I am the way I am. I think like Salem and all that weird shit. But what I would tell her is like, it does not fucking matter what other people think. I don't know. I would just, I really feel like 16-year-old Tamara is the same Tamara now, just like, now I'm a little louder. I speak more. And I would just tell her that, I don't know. I feel like we're the same person still. Like, I don't really have to give her a heads up. I just got to let her know to never stop.
Okay. Simple as that. I like that. Who is one woman that inspires you, that supported you, that's been a mentor that you would like to highlight for the listeners?
Not just one. There's just way too many.
Give us multiple.
Every single woman at 300 who has, helped me and mentored me. Like I would not be here without the incredible women at 300 who have really like pushed me, don't stop pushing me. Yeah. Of course, my mother and my sister. Man, there's just really not a single. I don't have like a mentor per se. I don't have like one person, but every single one of my friends, every single woman that I know is just fucking incredible. I swear to God, like if you are a woman and I know you, like you are amazing. Like every single woman this is probably not the answer, but I can't just name one. It's really just like an accumulation of every single person that I have met throughout my life, and that's just like why I'm the way I am. Like, I can't give one woman. If I had to choose one, it would have to be my mom. Like she's the one. She's like Tamara. She's the one. She would tell me like, you sleep and wake up, and you sleep and wake up, and you sleep and wake up, and it's gonna be okay. And she would never like tell when or how many sleep and wake ups, but that's like the one thing I knew at the end of the day, and she never let me forget that. So thank you to Mom and all the amazing women.
Shout out to you, Mom. Do you think she's gonna watch this?
I think so. when I send it to her, she will. When I send it to her, she will. Awesome, she's my biggest supporter. She's amazing.
Love that. Good to know. Well, thank you again for coming through the show, for giving us your perspective. Like, if there's anything you all took from this interview, this woman was hungry and she got to it, and look at what she's doing now. 300 After Dark Room. I'm sure there's more greatness coming too. Speaking on panels, TikTok recipes. We didn't even get into the TikTok recipes. You can follow her on TikTok to see everything that she is doing there. The amazing fits. You're flexing on me heavy right now. I'm not gonna lie.
This is something light.
It's something light, right?
This is something light.
Casual.
This is something light.
Just Saturday vibes. So we're of course going to provide all of her social media for you all, so you can make sure to tap in with her. Be nice, fellas. Remember, she said, hey, you're beautiful, you're gorgeous. It's not going to work. So maybe be more creative, or maybe try a new approach. But of course, this is the boy Armon with the homegirl Tamara May. Make sure that you also tap into Sip Hot Tea. Go to siphottea.com. Use promo code BUSY for 15% off your first purchase. Tune into all Busy sessions, all previous episodes. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. We stay in Bad and Busy for Women's History Month on Stay Busy with Armon Sadler. So we want you to stay safe, stay humble, and of course, stay busy.
Baby girl, how you feeling? I've been out in the world, staying busy, taking time, getting right if you miss me. I've been out in the world, staying busy.
Mondays 9 a.m. Party with the gang. Every week, tell a friend. Busy over everything. Busy boys, gotta call now. Ain't you heard? Got the vibes. They put you on. Got the slides. I'm the size. Running down. No, we hold it down.
Baby girl, how you feeling? I've been out in the world, staying busy, taking time, getting right if you miss me. I've been out in the world, staying busy.